future self here. This is the intro for the video, filmed later. The video is a compilation of a couple different things. One, I wanted to show you how to do a blind hem stitch because I figured it out because I had some lovely instruction from a beautiful lady down at the Silver Thimble here in Bozeman. The second part of the video is watching me in Struggle Bus Central with the unboxing of my new corset. I did get it to fit, but you will see what I ended up doing. And then the third part of this video is actually creating the mock-up pattern for this garment right here. And this is an Ottoman Zibin or hurka or vest. Depends on who you talk to. This is actually a layer number 2 in the outfit. And I'm going to go over I'm going to show you like the pattern that I made. I actually ended up making it with this fabric, and this is pretty much most of the fabric that you see. This is the sleeveless version, and this is the sleeved version. And I figured out the patterning, and I just wanted to show you how I did that. And then maybe this video, it depends on how much footage I have, and I'm about to go through it and figure it out. But I may show you also kind of the design and idea of what I've got for this summer's Ottoman wardrobe. If I don't have time for it in this video, I am going to do another video because I want to go over a little bit more about the history of the Ottoman Empire. From what I've been able to research, I am not a historian in the Ottoman Empire, but when I went looking for stuff, I didn't find a lot that had to do with actual garments. I found a lot of blog posts, but not a lot of videos. And I'm a video person. I like to watch videos to learn things because I like to do other things. So that's why I'm going to do that. But it is so comfortable and it is very lightweight. This is 100% linen. And I actually did a trim on the inside of kind of a slightly different red color. And it is just lightweight and beautiful. And I haven't put the fastenings on it yet, but I will be. And I'll probably do fastenings on several at one time. I also got the blue one done. And okay, so that's the beginning. And enjoy the video, my friends. This should be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm going to attempt to show you how to do a blind hem, because I literally just learned how to do this. So number one thing is you have to prep your fabric by ironing it over whatever the initial hem width is. Okay? Then you fold it again and you basically create kind of this S thing. See, S, S, S. Okay? Wherever you line it up at, that part right here is what's going to tack and going to see on the other side, and the stitch down here is going to be in the ditch and you're not going to see it. Now, this is really flimsy fabric, and last time I did this, I did iron it down all the way, but I was also taught how to do it without ironing it. So I'm going to line it up like that. I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like here. So that's what it looks like. It's just caught here, here, here. And then when I turn it, that's what the inside looks like. And that's the outside. Isn't that cool beans? You can tell I got a little far away up here, but I'm doing better down here where it just catches. It's literally almost invisible if you do it right. And that is the blind hem stitch. At this point, I realized that the corset was still not fitting properly, because if you look at this, it's got a bubble in the middle of the back, like there's too much length. And then if you look at this next frame, there's a bubble at the bottom where I've moved the bubble down and into the waist. I basically played with it, tightening it down and then loosening it back up and tightening it down. And I pretty much came to tears because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't fitting. When I realized it wasn't fitting, I got really frustrated and I cried in my bedroom for a few minutes, and then I brought my first custom corset in, the one that I wear every single day, to see how that fits first. And then came the epiphany. I unlaced the corset and laid my old one and my new one side by side and discovered that the waist on the new one is too low. I am very, very short-waisted, and I restrung the corset with using the waist stretch bits higher up, and also using the cord that is a little easier for me to handle. And lo and behold, the darn thing fits. Now, that also means the waist tape is in the wrong place, and I have a decision to make as to whether or not I'm going to move the waist tape or not, which I probably will not, because I just don't want to mess with it at this point. That's a 28. 28. You see that? 28. The next step was selecting hooks so that I have back hooks, just like my old corset, to tie the lacing below the waist. And then I did order some front hooks, and they should be here in about a week, and I will show you when I put those on. This is an old 100% cotton sheet that I've recycled, and I'm prepping the fabric to make a mock-up. These pattern pieces are from the original Ottoman vest that I made, or hurka. Now here I have changed the width of each of the pieces just a smidge from the original because it's too big, and I'm also looking at adjusting how I want to do the gores. Ultimately, I do end up changing it, but in this clip, I am showing you that I create 4 gores, 2 that have that hip bump, and then 1 gore for each of the front. This is the original layout that I learned how to make my first hurka from, and the sleeves go on this. Now, this particular pattern, my goal is actually to have a sleeveless vest or hurka. And you're going to see when I try it on here that it doesn't fit right. It doesn't have enough room. I'm going to have to add a gore underneath. And ultimately what happens is I do add the gore, and then I create a whole new pattern piece. And this is the final pattern piece. You can see that the side hip bump is integrated into the piece, and this front piece specifically has a wider, deeper arm's eye, and then the one in the back actually only goes a little bit, and I just cut it straight and then edge it as I go. It made a big difference in how the sleeveless tunic came out in the end. Okie dokie. So what I've done is I have I sewed in this piece of fabric because it's going to be my neck opening, and I have sewed it in. Let's take all the pins out. And I've sewed it on to the right side of the fabric so that I can turn it around to the wrong side of the fabric. In case you're a little bit confused, this red vest is actually going to be a sleeved vest, and it's 100% linen, so it is a different outfit. This is called Stitch Witchery, it's a fusible bond. So this will be the inside, and I want to put some fusible bond on here because I want to make sure it doesn't go anywhere until I can get back to it after I've done other things on the garment. Here I have attached the sleeves and I am felling them in so that they won't fray. With the new pattern change, I am doing a tall triangle on one of the fronts and a shorter triangle on the other front. The shorter triangle actually begins at the waist. Right about here in the construction is when I realized that instead of folding over all the edges and putting just a hem in them, I wanted to do a facing. So I found some darker red linen, and the sleeves and the front all have a darker linen facing, which I sewed in, and then when I did the follow-up, I did the hand stitching on the inside. And right here is where I discovered that I put them on wrong, and I had to tear both sleeves off and then re-sew them on correctly. Hey there, guys. This is cotton gauze. It is see-through. You see me? Yep, you can see me through that. This is crinkle gauze, so it has like a pre-texture to it. I have a whole bunch of gauze on order that should be here by the end of the week, but this is something that I had on hand. And I wanted to kind of show you that on the Ottoman stuff that I'm doing, one of the things that with the gauze, I've noticed that I kind of have to do some stuff by hand. So the neckline needed a facing because it's just so flimsy. The rolled hem that I tried to do just didn't work. And I did have to put a facing, but I had to hand stitch it because it just didn't work. The other thing that's going on with this is that on these Ottoman, they have a straight across the bottom, and I like to round it just a smidge on the inside seam. So I kind of wanted to show you what I do for that. I have this, it says Variform curve rule. I'm not entirely certain what the angle is on this one, but I generally, see if I can show you a little bit better. I generally try to aim for the straightest part and line up this part with it. And then I take my curve and I go with that. And then I cut it. Now this gauze is kind of a weird stretchy, it kind of has a four-way stretch to it if you're not careful. So I am going to line it all up, and I mean, I had to use a lot of pins on this and ironed it. No, it doesn't look like I ironed it, but I did iron it. It didn't cut easily because of the crinkle nature of it, but now it has this nice curve all the way across, and I will hem that, and I'm going to do the same thing I did on the inside. I did a straight stitch hem, and you can see that on the outside. I'm just going to do that on the inside, and I may do a decorative stitch on the outside. Pretty much the face, I had to put a facing in it because it was just so flimsy, and I was afraid that putting buttons or any kind of clasps on this was not going to work really well because it didn't have any structure to it. So we will see what I end up doing with the other gauze stuff, because the other gauze stuff is at least not crinkle gauze. And I have learned my lesson. I do not like crinkle gauze. This was free fabric that I got a while ago. I'm not entirely certain where I got it, but I know it was free. The other thing that is going to be happening is I'm going to be doing block prints on the gauze because it's so see-through. I want some decorative aspects to some of these outfits, and I ordered some Speedball block printing ink, and I did not realize how small these were. We will see if I have enough ink. I did order 2 of the silver because I know I have a huge project I'm going to need a lot of silver for. And I actually do have a lot of acrylic paint. I just need to get some fabric medium. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. And then I do have that bolt of linen you can see way off to the side in the video, right over there in that corner. That bolt of linen, I am going to make a gomlek or an undergarment. And I should be showing you some footage of that. And I have to get all the pieces cut out, and linen frays really bad. So I will be French seaming everything on the linen gomlek. And then I'm hoping today to get patterning for salwar, and salwar are pants. And I do have a pair of pants, but they're about that much too short. And I made them a little shorter because I used that particular pair of pants for rapier combat. And so I needed them to be a little bit more short, and I was going to tuck them inside boots so they weren't going to be an outside garment. And all of the ones I want to make for Great Western War are outside garments, and I'm not going to be tucking them into boots. So I have to make a new pattern. So I should be showing you some footage of that. I hope you are enjoying this as much as I am. I'm really excited to get more footage out there and show you more things, and I'm excited to bring it to you.